I got angry at a family's son and called him effing moron, not knowing he died a few days. It became the biggest regret of my life. For context, I'm a mailman who works out of the Midwest. I don't have to tell my fellow carriers in this area that the past 3 months have been rough. Not only has my city had snow for 3 weeks straight now, but Christmas package volume hasn't decreased much. I've worked from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday for these 3 months, just trying to keep up with the volume. It's also been very cold, and I've been extremely stressed and tired all around. Well, yesterday was no different, as I was told first thing in the morning that I had 2 routes I had to get done on my own, plus any extra packages when I got back. Also, my ProMaster had been taken on Sunday for maintenance, and I'd have to take a much smaller Metris car. This means I'll have much less space for all the mail and packages, but Metris cannot drive through any amount of snow. I'm not joking, a light dusting on the road will make you stuck. So, I was already tired and very frustrated. Fast forward to halfway through my day, and I deliver packages to a nicer neighborhood. The house where I'm dropping a package is not open to parking on the street except in front of their neighbor's fairly long driveway. It's not uncommon for us carriers to block a driveway for a minute to drop off a package, so I don't think anything of it. Well, I couldn't see the end of the driveway due to the other cars, and as I turned to park, I realized that at the end of their driveway was a pretty large pile of snow. I tried to brake and turn, but it was too late. I land right in the middle of this snow pile, completely stuck. I try in vain to get myself out, but we aren't allowed to dig ourselves out for safety reasons. So I have to call the office to get a tow truck, which I'm told will take an hour. This means I'll have to stay an extra hour to get the rest of the packages delivered. Pretty. Obviously, I'm absolutely livid at this point, cursing up a storm in my car. Well, down the driveway comes a man who doesn't look very happy. He throws up his arms and that "what the F are you doing?" pose, which just makes me more mad. I get out and snap him a "can I help you?" He snaps back at me with a "what are you doing blocking my driveway?" This is where I fucked up. I'm usually very calm and polite with customers, no matter how rude they are. But today, I just couldn't control myself. I say, "Well, it looks like someone was too lazy to shovel the snow on their driveway into their yard and instead piled it in the street." The man gets red in the face and looks like he's going to scream at me, but takes a deep breath and says, "My son shoveled this for me," without even thinking about respond. Well, your son is a fucking moron. I again expect him to yell at me, which, in hindsight, is exactly what I wanted him to do. Instead, he stumbles back as I struck him, and I see tears pour from his eyes. He immediately turns and half runs up the driveway, and I can see he's sobbing. I instantly felt confused and extremely guilty because mailman or not, there was no reason for me to speak to him that way. So, I quickly followed him up the driveway, where I saw their cars parked. On both of the back windshields is a sticker of a boy, with text on top and bottom that says, "R.I.P. Riley, we'll miss you. 2008 to 2025. I feel like I was slapped in the face. Their child passed away 2 weeks ago. I walk to their door in a daze and knock. Both parents answer, a mix of fury and anguish on their faces. That's when the stress and exhaustion from the past 3 months and the intense guilt I was feeling hit me like a brick wall. I dropped to my knees and began to cry, trying to tell them I was sorry in between sobs. To my astonishment, both parents dropped next to me, wrapped me in a hug, and started to cry with me. We stayed like that for a few minutes until I got my crying under control, and I told them why I was so angry and how sorry I was. The dad put his hand on my shoulder and told me he forgave me, bringing more tears. We introduced ourselves and talked briefly, but eventually, I had to wait for the tow truck in my car. But as I was waiting, they both came out with winter gear and snow shovels. They were offering to dig me out, which I vehemently refused. I told them I didn't at all deserve their help, but the mother told me, "I cleaned up my son's messes for 16 years because I'm his mother. That doesn't stop just because he passed," which caused me to cry even more. They eventually got me out, and I exchanged phone numbers with them and told them I'd invite them over for dinner later this week. They accepted, and now my wife and I are going to cook them a veritable feast this coming Saturday.